Hello and welcome to my tarot corner. So I think that you can all agree with me that after the last reading we need some cleaning around here. So I'm using my last of the Palo Santo in order to clean the air here a little bit, because I'm going to look into something a little bit more nice. Okay, so, but I'm going to use the same spread, and I'm going to look into the Duke of Edinburgh or the Duchess of Edinburgh titles. Now, as you all know, there has been talk about Prince Edward getting the Duke of Edinburgh title ever since, always. That he was promised that title, and that was the reason why he didn't want a duke title when he was married, but an earl title, and that his father promised him a duke title. And now, all of a sudden, came up this wish of the Queen that Princess Charlotte will get the Duchess of Edinburgh title when she's of age. Now, the reasoning is a little bit off, in my opinion, because what they say is that if Prince Edward gets the Duke of Edinburgh title, then his son is able to get that title from him because it's an inherited title. And then the title gets out of the line of succession. And actually, Princess Charlotte, of course, she is now in the line of succession, and she will probably be Princess Royal when Prince William become king. I don't know. Let's hope so. But when Prince George marries, and his children will be before her in the line of succession. And then when she marries, that title is going to get out of the line of succession once again. So unless you keep that title within the king's hands, there is no real way of keeping that title in the line of succession. It can be either the king's title or the Prince of Wales title. It cannot be or the son of the King of Wales title, but it cannot be anyone else's, because everyone that is not in direct line of in the direct line of the throne will be going further and further down the line once the one that is before him gets married and has children. So I find this whole reasoning not very, let's say, reasonable. But I can understand that the Queen might have wanted Princess Charlotte to get that title. So what I'm going to look into is the two paths that King Charles is standing before. One is telling his brother, who waited for a long time for this title, that he's not getting that title. And I'm sure that Prince Edward won't be well, he won't do anything or he won't say anything, but I'm sure that he will be disappointed. And the other option is to keep that title in abeyance until Princess Charlotte is old enough to get the Duchess of Edinburgh title. So I'm using the cute tarot of MUGI, and it is a nice animal tarot, mostly bears, and the Angels Among Us oracle. And let's see what does the tarot tell us. Before I start, please take a few moments to read my full disclaimer in the descriptions box. This is a tarot reading. It is vibrational, it is open to interpretation, it exists as assumptions and speculation, and as such may or may not be true. So please do your own research and decide for yourself. Okay, so let's clear the deck. And let's start asking. So King Charles, two options regarding the title of the Dukedom of Edinburgh. The option of giving it to his brother, the Earl of Wessex, or his granddaughter, Princess Charlotte. King Charles has two options regarding the Dukedom of Edinburgh, either giving it to Prince Edward or to Princess Charlotte. What is the best option for King Charles? Which option is better for King Charles and for his wishes and his motives? Okay, so let's cut the deck. And this is exactly the same spread as I used before. So the first card is the card that shows us King Charles, what grounds him. So here, I think that it will show us what the Queen told him, maybe, or where is he coming from? What is the main thing that makes King Charles feel or think about this matter? So what I'm getting here is the Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups, first of all, is a card of options. It shows us that he has options, and he looks at his options and he looks at the things that he can choose from. But this is also a card of dreams, dreams that can become reality. And dreams here can be his dreams, that can be Prince Edward's dreams, this could be the Queen's dreams, this could be many people's dreams, but this is mainly about dreams, and sevens are about getting out of the comfort zone. So no matter what King Charles decides, it will mean that he will have to get out of his comfort zone. It won't be an easy decision for him. Now I'm going to look at the affinity of this card, because I think it will give us some extra interpretation here. Okay, so that's interesting, because the affinity of this card is, first of all, a child that has difficulty in detaching from his mother. So I believe that there is something here that the Queen said to King Charles that is very important to him. And he finds it very hard to do something against something that she said. So whatever she said has a lot of meaning here. Another thing that this card is talking about is some kind of reading reality wrong. So maybe, just maybe, Prince Edward doesn't really want to be the Duke of Edinburgh any longer. I don't know. But this is something that I'm not so, I don't feel that it's so much, I'm not so connected to this interpretation, but the affinity of the connection of a child to a mother, it doesn't have to be, a small child, it can be in any age, is very significant here, because it was said that it was the Queen's wish. And I believe that it is true that the Queen said something about the Dukedom of Edinburgh to King Charles before she died. So this is why we got this card as the card that grounds King Charles, because the main thing that he wants to do is to do what his mother asked him to do. So that's the first card. The second card is, wait a minute. Okay, the key motivation. What does he motivate him? And what we get here is justice. So he wants to really do justice to all. He doesn't want to hurt anyone. He wants to be just to his brother. He wants to do justice to his mother. Now, I remind you that the psychological interpretation of justice is to be very cold-hearted and to cut out everything that is unnecessary from your life pathway and be very strict and just be very decisive. But I believe that the actual meaning of justice is more like it in this interpretation, in this place, when we're talking about what motivates King Charles, because he really, really wants to be just to all. He doesn't want to hurt anyone. He wants to feel that he has done justice to his brother, that he has done justice to his mother's wishes. I don't think that he feels that he needs to do justice to Princess Charlotte, because I don't think that she knew that the Queen had any kind of intentions about that. But I feel that he feels very, very strongly about doing justice to everyone. So he feels that he's in a position where he needs to make a decision that will be just. Okay, so that's the second card. The third card is, what is his ideal outcome? And his ideal outcome is that he won't be the one to decide. This is what this card is. This card is the card of deciding not to decide. He really wants to be the one that doesn't need to decide. It will not happen because he will have to decide, but he really wants to take some time out. He wants to take some time out to think. He wants to take some time out to, he really, it makes him feel sick. And he really wants to be able to have someone who will take that decision away from him. This is what he really, really wants. he knows that he has to make that decision, but it makes him sick. This is what this card says. Now, I'm going to look into the affinity of this card to see if there is something else that we can see in this card. So, as I was saying, this card has an affinity to wanting to run away from reality, but it also has an affinity to stop to think. So, I believe that he will not make that decision so quickly. He will take some time to think about it. He will not make a decision just like that. He will take some time. He might consult other people. This is a card of consulting with a therapist or with someone who might be a professional, but it is a card of someone of asking for help, for asking for someone that will consult you. So I believe that he will ask for consultation before he makes that decision. So this is what he really wants. Okay. Next card is, what does he need to know if he decides to give that title to Princess Charlotte? And what we're getting here is the Tower. So not a very good prospect if Princess Charlotte is getting that title. The Tower is a warning card. The Tower is a card that is saying to King Charles, if you will decide to go to that route, that means that the whole monarchy might fall apart. This is a warning card regarding the foundation of the monarchy, the foundation of the firm. And this card is saying that if he decides to go on that route of giving that title to Charlotte, it will not be accepted well by the people, and it might even lead to the falling apart of the monarchy. So he needs to check those foundations very, very well, and he needs to take that under consideration. So that is not a very good prospect, and this is something that he needs to take into consideration. Let's see what will the outcome be if he decides to give Princess Charlotte that title, and we get victory, which is quite curious. So how do we explain the contradiction between the Tower card and the victory card? And the contradiction is explained because those two cards came just right one after the other. And that means that this card is badly aspected. And because this card is badly aspected, we need to look at the negative aspects of this card. And the negative aspect of this card is moving forward too quickly on a basis that is not solid enough. And because of that, toppling down. This is what this card means. It means that when you advance too quickly without a solid basis, and you are resting on your laurels and you are procrastinating, everything topples down. And this is why we got this card right after the Tower card, because King Charles believes that by doing what his mother asked him, he is getting that victory. But if he doesn't check the foundations, and if he doesn't check what the people want, and the foundation of the monarchy, and if the people are ready for that, after so many years that people were so ready for Prince Edward to get that title, it might cause the entire foundations to fall apart. Not necessarily, but it might. And I said this is a warning card. It doesn't mean that it will happen, but it does mean that he needs to check it. He needs to check it, and he needs to make sure that he's not advancing too quickly. And that is why it's very, very important that he does take that time, that he does consult with other people, that he does make sure that he's not making that decision by himself, that he's consulting with other people who will help him to get to the right decision. Okay, so now let's look at the other path. The other path is giving that title to Prince Edward. So what does he need to know? And we're getting the Three of Wands. And the Three of Wands is a great card because it's a card of cooperation and recognition. So this card shows, first of all, that he will get cooperation from the entire country. He will get recognition and of this title, and the recognition of Prince Edward's title. This is a good prospect for this option. The Three of Wands is a very good prospect for this option. And as I said many times, this is about sorry, I'm just too much pain. Okay, so this is about having the necessary qualification, and Prince Edward has the necessary qualification in order to become the Duke of Edinburgh. And this is what this card is all about. The Three of Wands shows that if Edward gets that title, that title goes to the person who has the necessary qualifications to have that title. Okay, so that is what King Charles needs to know about that. And what will happen if he does give Prince Edward that title? And we're getting the Four of Cups. So once again, we're getting a contradiction. Why? Because the Four of Cups is a card of doubts. So how do we explain that? Why? Why will he have doubts? And here we have to go back to the Seven of Cups that we had in the beginning. Because if you remember, the Seven of Cups told us that there is a very deep connection between King Charles and his mother. And probably his mother did ask him to give that title to Charlotte. And after giving that title to Edward, he will have doubts. He will keep on thinking if he did the right thing. He will keep on questioning himself whether or not that was the right thing to do. And that is something that he will have to live with for the rest of his life. This is not an easy thing to do, but it's still easier than having the whole of the monarchy collapsing. So I'm just going to look into the affinity of this card. Okay, so this card has an affinity to loneliness. And I think that every king feels a little bit lonely because he's a king and he feels a little bit different from everyone else, but he will feel a little bit lonely after making that decision, if he decides to make that decision. But I think that the most important thing here, that he will have doubts on whether or not he did the right thing because of his mother, because he knew that his mother wanted something else. So this is the tarot, and altogether I do think that the right thing to do is to give that title to Edward. But once again, I'm not saying the future. In one of my previous readings, I did see that Edward will get that title, but in this reading, I'm not seeing the future. I'm just showing both paths and what can happen if both paths are taken. And I'm asking the oracle, that is the angels among us, to give King Charles a message. Okay, so King Charles, a message for King Charles. And what we're getting here is Archangel Gabriel. Self-expression, creativity, and North Star. Let's see what else can we find. And the message of this card is: be unapologetically you. Follow your North Star. Create, express yourself, and believe in miracles. Listen to and trust the messages from the divine. So this is a great message for King Charles, and I think he should follow this. So this is it for this reading. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.